Will you ask Mick Lynch, I've been losing money during these 12 months of strike, how much has he lost? Mick Lynch.
Well, yeah, and I thank all our members for their commitment to the cause. I donate my salary when there's a strike on in this national dispute, and I haven't had a pay rise since I've been General Secretary. I've foregone any pay rise.
How long have you been General Secretary, Mr. Lynch?
I'm going into my third year now, and I haven't had a pay rise since I took the job. In fact, I cut the General Secretary's salary by 20%.
Okay. Do you lose money then, as Rachel asks? She says she does. You do?
I give up. I and the other national officers give up our salary on strike days.
Okay. Annette's in Liskeard in Cornwall. Annette, your question to Mick Lynch.
Good morning, Nick. Good morning, Mr. Lynch.
Hello.
Do you feel at this stage, we're 1 year into this strike, do you feel now you are losing the country's support after all this disruption over the past year?
OK, don't go. I will offer you the opportunity. I didn't get to my other caller. Are you losing public support? Mick Lynch?
I don't think so. I travel about on the system all the time. I go out like everyone else. We're getting a lot of support. We get support on our picket lines. We understand people are upset when we disrupt them through our strike action. We get that. And our members face up to that. But our members live in these communities. A lot of people are supporting us. We want a settlement. We don't want to continue to take strike action. But I believe that we're doing something that is an investment for our members going forward, that they're sacrificing something now for the long-term future of our industry and, of course, for their own jobs and terms and conditions. It'd be nice to have public support, but public support doesn't win the dispute, and public support doesn't change this government's actions. It doesn't change what they do. We've seen that with all of the controversies going on now in public life, and they're not responding to that. They're clinging on like a zombie government. So I don't know what it is that changes government's opinion, but it's certainly not public opinion. But we want support, and we value people's contribution to us. We get a lot of donations to our strike fund from the public and from the trade union movement. So we think we've got people with us, but we do understand people's frustration.
Well, polling by Ipsos, admittedly was in March, shows 32% of people support your strikers. That's behind nurses with 60%, ambulance workers 58%, junior doctors 51%, teachers 45%. Let's just come back to Annette. Annette, do you support the strikers?
No, I don't. Not
Tell
at
Mr.
this
Lynch why.
time. We are in such a critical state in this country. We've got, I think, they would say 3 million visits to food banks in the past year. This government is on its knees. We've had 13 years of pigs in the trough, as far as I'm concerned. This government are done. So I don't see what's the point in trying to do anything with this government when they are a lame duck government.
Well, they're trying to nail us. They're trying to nail us to the floor. All the things that you've mentioned are things that we campaign on as RMT and I campaign on. We don't want food banks in this country. We want people to be earning a living. Now we've got working poverty is a massive phenomenon in this country. And that's because wages have been continually driven down, not just in this last 3 or 4 years of economic woe with the pandemic, but over a period since 2008 when the Osborne-Cameron government gave in. Austerity is driving people into the mire, into destitution in some places, even while they're at work. That's what we're campaigning against. We don't want our members to go down that slope. Many people are now contracted out, outsourced, no conditions, no pensions, no sick pay, wages that are barely meeting the statutory provisions. We want fair wages and we want a square deal for everyone. And we're not going to get that by just surrendering to what public opinion or what the Daily Mail thinks or what the Telegraph thinks. They want lower wages. While that's been happening, profits are up. The super rich have never been richer and they've never been as broad a category. People are making vast amounts of money out of this economy while the majority are suffering. That's what we're campaigning against.
Do you think that if the unions, not just yours, but all the unions would get together, you would have a stronger case? Do you think that you could just get the government to do what needs to be done? Because I do think I'm Hungarian. And in 1848 in Hungary, I don't know how much you know about Hungarian history,
I do.
On the 15th of March, you do? Okay. So on the 15th of March, actually, in Hungary, the youngsters just got together, got to the parliament, and actually kicked out baddies. So I'm just asking, can the unions get together Are there people like István Széchenyi was in Hungary and Sándor Petőfi? Are there people who are actually going to show what needs to be done?
Let me move to an answer. I have to say a big smile broke across Mr. Lynch's face when you mentioned Hungarian history, so I fear we've alighted on one of his specialist subjects. Mick Lynch.
Well, 1848 was a big year across Europe, and if you...
Shame I can't get the 1848 from Charing Cross sometimes,
Exactly.
but anyway, do go on.
So, yeah, but it was coordinated, it was spontaneous across all of Europe, including with the Chartists over here and all the rest of it. So they're big periods, and it shows that people have got to rise up sometimes to make their...
So is that what we need now? Union collaboration?
I'm going to the TUC straight after this meeting up the road, and I'll be saying that we need coordination. We need to have a wave of protest. And what that protest needs to be about is not just the strikes, but it needs to be against poverty. We need a campaign against poverty in our country to support our public services, our NHS, education, social care, whatever you want to name, and mental health services in particular, which are being crushed by austerity. So we need the TUC to lead the way, to be a beacon of hope. And that features the unions, of course, but also bringing other campaigners in, people that have got all these issues locally and other issues such as the environment.
How is that to be achieved? National strike?
Well, coordinated strike action could be part of it. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think the TUC has led the way very well on that, to be honest with you.
What should they have done, Mr. Lynch?
I think they should have been a bit more coordination. People should have been more in step with each other.
So
but the laws in this country,
semi-general strike?
Yes, I would have supported that. The laws in this country are very onerous, and you have to run your dispute in a particular way because of the laws we've got. We can't just walk out the door because they'd close us down. And you'd have to interview me from Pentonville or somewhere like that. So
I might send a cake.
Yeah, so and a file hopefully. But the laws are very onerous, and I don't think we've done enough. I think we should have coordinated better. I think we had a chance last year.
Why did they drag their feet?
Because trade unionists, whether you like it or whether you might not believe this, Nick, are some of the most cautious and conservative people in the country. Some of my colleagues.
Saucy conservative, I
Yes, and they're cautious and they want to protect their own particular dispute and their own particular angle. So we should have done more. Okay. So I emphasise with what Deanne was saying there.
All right, I won't make you late. Last one. Tony Devendish, a Tory London Assembly member, refuses to apologise. He says your members are, quotes, skivers. Are they skivers? Would you accept an apology?
Well, it's nonsense. If he could get up at the hours our members get up, he was talking about London Transport, who've had to shut stations. They made 600 redundancies. Now they've got to shut stations because they haven't got enough staff. We told them that before they did it. He's making out that our members are behind the gates asleep. It's absolute nonsense and it's an affront. He's trying to make himself famous because nobody knows who he is on the London Assembly, frankly. So the only bit of coverage he gets is by tweeting on the RMT Twitter page. So that's got him his 5 seconds of fame.
Right.
But I think he should be consigned to anonymity where he belongs because he's got no idea. If he had to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and open up Charing Cross Station to let you in a bit later, he'd see how hard it is.
Lastly, not that you want to achieve fame or even notoriety, there was a petition earlier this year to get you to go to Glastonbury this weekend. We know Sir Elton John or others are going. Are you going to give the people what they want?
I was invited, but I'm too busy and it's a distraction. I do a lot of public events, but I'm not doing Glastonbury this year. I'm too old.
Not this year?
Well, I may do it one day, but it'll be when I'm not involved in a big campaign. It's too much of a distraction at this time.